Welcome to this week's meditation atelier. This week we're on week 3 of the Deep Winter series, and the theme of today's session is courage. So this is having the courage to listen to our intuition, and we're going to practice some vagus nerve toning exercises. And then we're going to move into listening to our bodies and listening to our needs, so that in those moments where we've got choices, that we can pause before we decide what we're going to do. And often our bodies will give us some clues as to which choice we should be making. So that opportunity to say yes or no, and waiting on yourself, I suppose. So when we're in a restaurant and a waitress comes up to us and says, "Can I get you anything?" Like taking that kind of approach with ourselves. So settling in, being as comfortable as you can. If you ordinarily are sitting and want to have a try lying down, feel free. And again, the inverse, remembering to listen to your body and just taking a moment to see how you are today. Sometimes we forget dates and times of year that can be a challenge or can bring us great joy. This time of year, 4 years ago, I passed my driving license, so I always feel quite excited now. That excitement of possibly the hardest thing, or the hardest exam I've ever had, and having gone to girls' grammar schools and been very well trained in passing exams, this was a real challenge for me. Okay, I need to... So sometimes the body remembers more than we do. No, the prefrontal cortex bit of ourselves, the one who thinks it's in charge. And taking a moment to settle and have a sense of arrival, and an invitation to take 3 long inhalations and 3 even longer exhalations, so extending that out breath. And checking in with your posture, elongating your spine, having a dignified posture. And I'm going to invite you to shake out your hands and your arms, moving them around you. So practicing this technique that we did last week, this animalistic shaking it off, so twisting the spine and the shoulders, maybe moving the arms up and down. It's not easy to sit in stillness, and if we just work those muscles and release any tension, it can be helpful. And then before we move into stillness, an invitation to smooth your brow, massage your eyebrows, squeezing them, moving down to the cheeks, moving down to the jaw. Any of you grind your teeth, this guy will have been working hard at night. Got a lot of tension in our jaw. And just moving around to the back of the neck and the shoulders. And then let's practice that skill of holding our tongue, pushing your tongue into the roof of your mouth as hard as you can, spreading it out to the teeth. Holding it, breathing in, and then opening the mouth and releasing. And then repeating that, pushing the tongue to the roof of your mouth as hard as you can without clenching the jaw. Breathing in and then releasing through the mouth. And then once more, pushing the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Breathing in and then releasing through the mouth. And then returning your breath to its natural rhythm. And checking in with yourself. So shining the spotlight of your attention around your body and checking for any tension or tightening, maybe like a security guard at the end of the night, just checking, letting go of any tension or tightening that you find. Where are your hot spots? Do you clench your hands? Do you clench your jaw? Do you tighten that forehead? Just releasing any tension that you find. And then returning your awareness to your breath, not changing the rhythm, but simply breathing in and breathing out. And let's begin by bringing our awareness to our in-breath. You can count if that's helpful. 1 up to 10. It's not a competition. There's no prize if you get to 10. So if your mind wanders, you lose your way, congratulating yourself for noticing and returning to 1. And if counting isn't helpful, then leaving it to one side. If you have obsessive compulsive type behaviors, counting can be counterintuitive. So an invitation to leave that to one side if checking or counting is one of those things. But also giving yourself permission if it feels right today. There's no right or wrong way of doing this practice. And when we sit in stillness and observe what it is to simply be with our bodies, to be in the present moment, we have a unique opportunity to observe our habits and tendencies, how the mind wanders, where it goes, and then returning over and over back to the breath. There's nothing to fix, there's nothing to change. We're simply being with ourselves as we are, observing the felt and physical sensations of our in-breath. Is there one point in particular that's interesting? Is there a part of the breath that's difficult to observe? You know that it's happening, but you can't feel it. So much of this being human goes unnoticed. The physical and felt sensations of what it is to be alive as we are. To simply notice. Breathing in. breathing in. We narrow our attention to the in-breath, and then we let go. And now an invitation to turn your awareness to your out-breath. Breathing out. Do you focus on one point in particular? Do you follow the full flow of that out-breath? Checking in with your posture, letting go of any tension that might have crept in. Returning your attention again and again, over and over as your mind wanders. If thoughts are particularly intrusive, keep calling for your attention, an invitation to respond with, "I'll attend to you later." You can even add a thank you if you feel the need. Thank you, I'll attend to you later. And then returning your attention back to the out breath. Counting if that's helpful. Perhaps noticing if you compete with yourself, chasing an imaginary prize. Maybe taking comfort knowing that most people make it to 3 before the attention wanders. We're so overstimulated with information, and observing the complexities of the out breath is incredibly hard. This is like doing weights in the gym for your mental muscle. The sensations of your out breath. You can anchor yourself here at any moment. Your breath is always available to you to anchor you in the present moment. And now an invitation to return to observing the full cycle of your breath, breathing in and breathing out, not changing that rhythm, perhaps observing the pauses between the in-breath and the out-breath, in this stillness. Is it truly still? Counting, if that's helpful. Maybe you can try the alphabet. Now an invitation to expand your awareness from the breath to include all of your body. So perhaps an opportunity to quickly scan around, check in for any points of tension, check in with your posture. You need to move and adjust, weaving any movements into your practice. Making them a part of the meditation. They don't need to be separate. And now an invitation to narrow your awareness to your ears and your experience of sound. What noises, if any, can you hear? Not particularly searching, but allowing them to arrive. Perhaps noticing how the mind maybe creates visual images of what's going on, piecing together information. Creating stories, filling in the gaps, labeling pleasant, unpleasant. And as best you can, being with your direct experience of sounds as sounds. Do you notice them more on one side than the other? Do you experience sounds in the head, in the body? your felt and direct experience of sounds. Each time your mind wanders into the stories, congratulating yourself for noticing and returning your attention back to the body and the felt experience. You can be rhythmic around this. You can track through the left leg, the right leg, the back, the belly, the chest, the arms, noticing if sounds are experienced here. Moving to the scalp, the face, the ears, your brain. Being curious and interested in what it is to be you. That childlike curiosity that we somehow lose along the way. Not wishing things to be different, but perhaps noticing if that's somewhere you go. As best you can, being with your experience just as it is. With kindness and curiosity. We often only notice our experience of sounds when it's changed in some way. Loud sounds, or things are too quiet, or we get earache, blocked ears, or there's an alarm going off somewhere. When we're disturbed. And now an invitation, if this feels right for you, to hum. You can pick whichever pitch works for you. I'll hum in between, guiding. Mm. So an invitation to experiment with tones, high, low, medium, and observing the felt and physical sensation of what you notice. You may begin to feel a sense of heaviness within the body. You may feel pressure around the chest area. The vibrations soothe and build vagal nerve tone, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system the rest, digest, and restoration part of our body. An invitation to continue humming and place one hand on your chest area, close to the heart, and then one on the belly. You may choose to hum a song, being playful, curious, and observing the felt sensation of humming within your body. You don't need to exhaust yourself. You don't need to completely empty your lungs. Noticing around the hand area your experience of humming the fingers, making sure that shoulders haven't risen up by your ears and you haven't slumped. Continuing to hum. And then bringing your awareness to the hand on your belly, in particular. So narrowing your attention to the hand on your belly. What can you notice humming here? And now moving the hand that's on the heart to the belly as well, placing it over the other hand. Continuing to hum as quietly or as loudly as you feel comfortable. What, if anything, can you notice here? And then returning your hands to your lap. And leaving the humming behind. Resting in the felt sensation of having made those movements, of having made those noises, and what you notice in the body, if anything. And now an invitation to take an internal weather report. How are you? How is your body? What does it need? Invitation to perhaps say to yourself, can I get you anything? Is there anything missing? Is there anything that you can do to take care of your needs? To move, to stretch, to massage, to adjust? When we take care of our body's needs, we can change the trajectory of our days. What do you really need? What does your body need? Perhaps making a mental note of what you need to attend to after the group. When we're hungry, tired, uncomfortable, this has an impact on our emotional and mental experiences, which in turn has an impact on how we interact with others and the world around us. Taking the time to pause and check in with ourselves on a regular basis throughout the day allows us an opportunity to respond rather than react. We have a choice. And that in taking this time today, you've taken an active step in taking care of your own health and well-being, learning to listen and to pay attention. In our various corners of the world, in our various time zones, whether in real time or in your own time, taking a moment to congratulate yourself for having taken the time out of your day to be here. One last invitation to check in with your posture, to release any tension or tightening that you've found. Wintering is the courage to stare down the worst parts of our experience and commit to healing them the best way we can. Wintering is a moment of intuition, our true needs felt keenly as a knife. So moving and stretching in perhaps some of the ways that you ignored your body on. Let's move into taking tea. Got verveine today. The idea of taking tea is, it's my occupational therapist side, the simple, ordinary and mundane activities that we do on a regular basis are an invitation to bring mindful awareness, sights, sounds, colours, textures that bring into practice all that we do in these longer meditations. That's the real joy. We can bring present moment awareness to our daily lives. Taking time to notice the little things, the small moments which make up most of our lives. So I'm going to pause the recording here. For those of you practicing in your own time, an invitation to reflect on your direct experience of that practice, that anything came up from the humming. What was interesting, what wasn't, what was frustrating, what you noticed in your body. It could be helpful to tap it out in an email, if that feels right, and send it to me, how you got on. Okay, so you now have another tool for your toolkit with the humming, and we'll practice a little bit more the hand technique that we did last week in next week's session. The more that we practice them, the more the neural pathways in our brains will wire up to form that grey matter, so that when things are struggle, we can easily access them. But let's close with our 3-part breathing space. So bread and butter, checking in with your body, the points of contact that you're making with the earth, where that begins and ends. And then narrowing your awareness to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. An invitation to extend that out breath. And then expanding your awareness of the breath to include all of the body. And just taking a moment to reflect back on what came up for you within the practice when your inner waiter, waitress approached and said, "Can I get you anything? Is there anything you need? Do you need some condiments, some milk, glass of water? Do you need to move, stretch? What does your body need?" And an invitation to place a hand on your heart and one on your belly. And hum. So taking a deep in-breath and humming. And as best you can, taking this sense of connection and awareness into whatever you have left to do with your day. Thank you so much for joining me, and do reach out if anything comes up.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a lovely weekend, both of you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye.